Hi everyone, Dan here from Warlord Games. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different to our last video. This is going to be a review of the Warlord Games Fallschirmjager Squadron Tropical Uniform. It's a recent release with the Western Desert book, and I'm sure you've all seen the pictures, but I wanted to have more of a review on how it could fit into your army if you're worried about size comparisons and stuff like that. So first of all, here's a box, of course, it comes in, and when we turn it around, we see the fantastic painting effort of the finished squad there. Absolutely great. And I'm sure you can find much better and more high resolution photos than this on the Warlord website. And some people out there have posted some brilliant finished painted examples as well on the internet. So go and check it out. So some of you might be thinking, well, how does this fit into my plastic Fallschirmjager? Or again, how does it fit into the grand scheme of things between the scale difference of the heroic Warlord Games and the more 1/56 correct scale of, say, Perry miniatures. So as you know, I've collected Perry miniatures mostly, with offensive miniatures to be the army which I collected for the Fallschirmjager based around Sicily. And you would have probably seen the battle reports which we posted recently. So I thought I'd share with you how it actually shapes up, rather than a straight review of the miniatures, but how they shape up comparison-wise. So if I take this away, and let's zoom in and start checking it out. So first of all, what you're going to see today is a mix of work in progress or unfinished miniatures, and also some painted examples as well from my current army. Reason for that is I have gone to try and match a similar sort of a pose to the ones inside that box. So it's more of a comparing apples to apples example. So again, I just zoom back just a little bit there so we get less glare. So there you go. So first thing that stands out, of course, is the SMG. Slightly less bulk to the Perry one. However, we've got an obvious uniform difference here in that the smock on the tropical Warlord guy on the left is unbuttoned or unclipped and is hanging down. But you can see it's actually a very good match. It's things like that, the extra bagginess in the trousers on the Warlord figure, that sort of help disguise the fact that maybe there is a very slight bulk difference. And I think what we'll find as we go through these as well is that the plastic miniatures are going to be even bulkier, being more heroic, we realise that. But I think you're going to find that these metal miniatures, as I hoped, are very good mid-ground. And I think the bulk of the trousers, the bulk of the smocks and so on and so forth actually are a very clever move from Warlord, apart from being realistic. They're a very clever move because they do provide a mid-ground between the other suppliers' scales and their own heroics. Not, of course, that Warlord Games is trying to match anybody else. They're one of the leaders out there in the business at the moment. And we're not attempting to do that or claim any shortfallings or what's better or worse. It's just merely a size comparison as we go on. So, moving on to the next one. There we go. That's pretty good. Now, unfortunately, here's one of the first issues which I had in the box. Warlord will sort this out, of course, but I was missing the final 5mm of the guy on the left's rifle when he came out of the box. It had just obviously been bent in transit. Warlord Games have got excellent customer service, however, and I know that once I've informed them about that, they'll sort me out somehow about that. The miniatures in general came with very little flash, very little scraping required for mould lines as well. Yeah, very impressed, very sharp too, and fairly thin mounting plinths as well underneath the feet, which again is a pleasure because that can be the difference between some of these other scales whether they fit on or not directly being mounted. Of course you can grind or file it down, whatever the case may be, but it always makes life easier. On to the next. There we go, another work in progress miniature, so excuse the painting, but that's obviously the comparison of the miniature pose that we were going for there. And when you look at the Warlord one, you can see the extra bulk is provided by some extra bagginess in the trousers, and also the bandolier around the neck, of course, is making that torso, the chest, look even bigger than it is. And once you get past that, you can focus on the miniature itself and realize that it is very, very similar to the Perry one in size. But again, the way they've used the equipment as a really great middle ground between their plastic range and other ranges out there. And I wouldn't think that's intentional, but it's very fortunate for those of us who don't or aren't using the plastic ranges for our armies. Alright, let's get on to the last one in this row. Oops, go the right way. Alright, again, some size difference in the rifles, although I believe we've got different rifles going on there. One's a Mauser and one's a carbine, but very, very comparative. Alright, let's go down to the next row and check these guys out. Again, work in progress mini, but I think anyone's going to be very happy with that sort of size there if I turn that. Very, very comparative. Happy days. A difficult pose to sort of match here, so excuse the fact we haven't got the same arm doing break dancing. But yeah, again, what I would say about this is probably the chunkiest figure in the whole pack. A little bit to do with the head. The head's possibly the largest of any of the others. However, also of course its squad is provide, and the bagginess of the clothes is sort of making it very, very bulky there. But again, even as it is, I don't think anybody's going to be really upset at that sort of size comparison. Very comparative. Same again, not a direct pose comparison. What we can see is very good again in the size, stature. The extra bulk of the trousers is bulking the Warlord one out, and definite longer rounds on the belt of ammunition for the 7.92 ammunition on the Warlord one. However, both excellent poses. Neither are going to look out of place next to each other. Right, the MG34s. Again, really good. Now, if we look at the MG34 length, very comparative. The bulk, yes, the Warlord one's got a little bit of bulk. However, disguised by the fact he's got the belt of ammo wrapped around it and the carry strap as well. So these things are very good for us because, you know, it makes the eye think that is the reason why it's bulked up. We don't really recognise the fact of the barrels. I guess noticeably a size difference to the Perry one which we have. Again, unfortunately, this is the second fault which I had in this box. I didn't receive a bipod, but again, I know Warlord will sort me out for that because they have excellent customer service. And kudos to Warlord Games because that if I just turn that around, is an exceptionally dynamic miniature, and an absolute pleasure to see a gunner with his weapon sprinting for the next fire position like that. Absolutely brilliant. Well done. And the last one, again, not a direct pose comparison. First thing stands out again, a little bit more bulk in the Warlord one. This one here is an offensive miniatures, and what I would say with this is they are not sculpted to have the tropical trousers on. They are nice and bulky, they just don't go further down the boots. They're bloused at sort of a higher level, I guess what you call jump boot sort of level, rather than further down the laces. So that's a bit of an obvious difference. However, some of the Fallschirmjager would have done that in Sicily and Italy as well. You know, people wear their clothes differently, and I think that's a very, very good size comparison. Again, things that are bulking up the Warlord one, we have the equipment hanging off there. You can see the helmet, and if I pick this up and show you the inside there, the inside of that helmet is actually indented, sculpted in. So I know we weren't going to assess the miniatures too much, but again, looking at the strap on the weapon as well, this is an excellent, excellent sculpt. Loads of character in there. That is field kit. You know, that's the field kit of a veteran there. Yeah, so the offensive one, obviously, again, he's wearing the early pattern smock as well. So all these things being tighter fitting make it look a wee bit skinnier. But you can see there, those two miniatures aren't going to look odd if we had them an inch away from each other on the battlefield. I mean, you know, let's do that. Let's zoom out a wee bit. Oh, you know, fantastic, fantastic. Now, the last thing which I wanted to do today, I'm going to zoom out, is I just wanted to show you some of the other stuff which I received in the mail. Again, I told you I'm a big fan of offensive miniatures, and I got some packs of their Fallschirmjager. The first ones which I received are the Tank Hunters. It's a great, great sculpt. I highly recommend offensive miniatures if you are going a slightly smaller scale. They match the Perry's absolutely superbly, as you've seen from a previous video, and that is one of my favourite Panzerfaust sculpts out there. Sighting the weapon correctly, brilliant. This one here, absolutely brilliant pose. A bit unfortunate for the period I'm going for to have the foliage in the helmet, and looks perhaps a bit more Western Europe, maybe a bit more Normandy, but you know, I guess colour match the foliage you're using in Sicily or Italy. They certainly use natural camouflage there at times as well. It's just a little bit more iconic from photos from Normandy, but using your imagination you'll be able to match that in well, and that's what I'll be going for. The Panzer Shrek, and this comes in a couple of different pieces, so you can have a removable front shield there. Here's this loader. And the second pack which I got are the Fallschirmjager casualties. Really enjoying these two. I have a similar model for the British Airborne, as you would have seen in previous posts on our website, and also the Primosol Bridge battle report which we saw. And scrolling over, we have got the medic running for injured Fallschirmjager on the ground. Let's bring that one closer so we can focus in on it. Great sculpt. And to finish the pack off, we've got the Normandy dead cow. Alright, just have to get the face of our cow in here. The cow deserves her moment in the sun. That is a dead Normandy cow, complete with swelling and bloating. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's update. I know that I was looking for information on the net about the tropical uniform Fallschirmjager. I hope you have enjoyed looking at this. Let's get some of the guys in there. There we go. So I hope you've enjoyed looking at this. Hope it's been delightful. In conclusion, we're not comparing the sculpts for better or worse. What we are doing is we're saying that these Fallschirmjager and the tropical uniform from Warlord would be a fantastic addition to any army, be it plastic Warlord or an army consisting of Perry miniatures, offensive miniatures, or any of the smaller scales like that. So I hope that answers any questions you might have, and if you've been hesitating buying them for that reason, and yeah, go out and pick them up. Enjoy them. They're great models.